So last time I showed you how to prioritize a certain market trend over the other, right? I showed you the things to look out for, how to go ahead and enter those trades. And even though sometimes using this strategy might seem like you're contradicting yourself, but it has proven to work over a long period of time. So why change the wheel when it's working, right? So this video is basically just to consolidate on that point and also give you some proper examples of what's actually going on right now, because I actually did make a trade on that previous market that day. I showed you guys something, and even though right now the Feds are kind of looking for the market to go bullish, and somehow I entered a bearish position. That was yesterday, and currently right now you can see that somehow the market seems to be doing really well. Now I know some of you are gonna be like, oh, okay, Emmanuel, so what's gonna happen if this market overturns itself and start going to the other direction? Well, once that happens, we're gonna be here to see that, right? We're gonna be seeing what is gonna be going on in the market, and we'll know perfectly well when to actually exit the market and so on and so forth, right? So basically what we have right here right now is the market is currently going bearish, okay? Even though right now that every single market out there is speculating the Bitcoin market to go bullish, and us, we're also speculating the same thing as well. To be honest with you, we know that the bull run is coming. Like, this is just merely like a setback, a drawback, right? The storm before the, or what they call it, right? The quiet before the storm, right? So that's basically what this is, what you're seeing over here is all about. But regardless, we have a pattern to trade with, and we have to also continue trading with that pattern. And what is the pattern? The pattern is very simple. When you go to the higher time frame, let's say using the 1 week time frame, the pattern is very simple. And to be honest with you, this pattern has already occurred, right? I'm just basically being too smart right here for taking that trade I took, right? So basically what you're doing over here using this pattern is we mark out the previous highs. Let me redraw this, right? The previous high right here, and then we take it over to, let's just use the horizontal line I've drawn over here to show you guys. Okay, so this particular horizontal line you're seeing over here, you see where it crossed. Okay, so this was the previous high. We have the market come up over here and returned, touching over this particular high, and moved up again. And if you look closely, you're gonna notice that this market has actually done the same thing over here as well. It did return to touch this particular high over here, and it started going up, right? So obviously, with all sense, we are to expect this market to break out and go up some more, right? That is every single, it makes perfect sense, right? And that is the ultimate goal we have for this market, to be honest with you. But then when you come down to something like 15 minutes time frame, you're going to notice that even though that is the ultimate goal, but currently right now the market is on a bearish trend. And how do you know it's on a bearish trend? We're simply using that same ideology I just taught you to look at the market, and you can see that clearly we are currently going bearish, okay? And not just that, we have the 200 EMA to confirm it for us. So some of you are gonna be like, okay, so why did you enter this particular trade at this particular point? If you remembered, I just talked about higher highs and higher lows, right? And lower highs and lower lows, okay? So looking at this particular place clearly, what do you see? Let me put this down for you. You see a market come right here, and it did react over here. And then we have a retracement to this place, which also happened to meet the 200 EMA at that level. So obviously this tells me that we should expect to go bearish, at least for now, okay? So we are obviously day traders. We don't really stay in the market for a whole long time, okay? So we stay with it, maybe within a couple of days we are out of the market. So why wait? Why not take the opportunity, okay? So that's basically why we took this particular trade. I'm just explaining to you the reason behind me taking this trade I took, right? Now, let me give you points, because I didn't really mention this in the previous video, okay? I can't really mention every single thing in one video. So let me give you a point of where to start expecting my take profits using this method, okay? So the very first place how we expect my take profits is this point right here. So just go ahead and drag that out. Let's use something like another horizontal line to show you that. Okay, so this is the very first point where I should expect my take profit. Yes, I did draw my take profit to go all the way down to this point, right? But it doesn't mean that I shouldn't be expecting anything to happen at this level. That's this particular level you see right here. So anything can happen over there. Now, what I normally do situations like this is either I, let's say now that the market has already, come over here and it does react and comes over here and breaks, because there's obviously a market reaction right here, breaks it over here and start going up, then I'll probably close my market. Or when it comes to place like this, I would take some percentage of the profit. Okay, so let's say 50% of it, I'll take it, right? So if I have about $2,000 in the market at this point, I'll take like $1,000 and the remaining one is going to be $1,000. Then when it finally comes up and does break a point of market interest at any level here, goes up, I'll go ahead and close out the remaining. Maybe by then the money might have reduced to like $500 or $300. I'll close it out. Now, doing so means that I've already closed my $1,000 up down here and close around another $300 up here. That gives me profit, much more profit than it would have given me if I hadn't closed any at all, right? So that's one of the ways to do this. Okay, now if I happen to be right, the market kind of breaks through all the way here and goes all the way down to this point. Now, roughly judging, this could be about, with the $1,000 that was remaining in the market as of the 50% remaining right here, could end up becoming another $2,000. Okay, so that means I have made a total of $3,000 in this whole trade, right? So that's basically how easy it can be to use this strategy to trade, right? So that's basically one of the ways you can use this method, even though the markets or the Feds are kind of pushing the market up, right? But now that the market is still consolidating over here, you can still make quite a good amount of money for yourself while waiting for the big run to happen. Let's move this over to 1 day time frame and see exactly what we'll have in the 1 day time frame. So you can see 1 day time frame, what I told you guys earlier on. Okay, so you can see that we had a high right here and the market kind of returned, right? It's actually first returned over here and just touched it by tapping it and moved up, and then finally came back again to obviously clear any market right here. And then, this happened, right? So just expect markets like this to continue in this fashion. It's never really gonna stop behaving like this. And by the time you understand that the market is just gonna come on acting like this every single time, you will develop that thick skin to not be scared of temporal market behaviors, right? There are some things that happen in the market that you just know that, okay, this is basically just going to happen for a while, and you can leverage over that as well. Sometimes people are going to hype a coin or hype a market, and then you jump into it only to discover that you'll be losing a lot of money from that market. So you need to be very careful, and you need to necessarily how to control your emotions when it comes to trading. Okay, so you can also take a look at this using something like ETH. So ETH is another cryptocurrency that I keep on saying right now, if you haven't really gotten into ETH yet, no matter how small it is, right? So I see ETH to be the next gold gem, right? Maybe not in the next 2 years, maybe not in the next 3 years. Now, I know I tell people to do this for a long term, right? If you are getting into ETH, get into it with the mindset of a 10 years investment, a 5 years investment, a 15 years investment, right? Even if you don't have a lot of money to get into ETH, just don't worry. Maybe you can get about 0.3 ETH or 0.5 ETH. You don't even really have to get 1 ETH. Let's say you don't even have that money, right? You can get 0.1 ETH, right? Because by the time the price of ETH skyrockets to about $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, you actually find out that 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 ETH you bought would actually be worth quite some money. And at the time, maybe you might have been way better off than that, but still, it's money. It's an investment. You can use it maybe to buy a car, maybe to just pay off something that you want to get done at the moment. and it will become quite a handy sum of money to you, right? So what I'm saying is that overall, my overall consensus when it comes to ETH is bullish. But when it comes to trading, I don't think like that, okay? When it comes to my day trading activities, I don't ever have an overall, direction for any markets. That's just basically what I'm trying to say, okay? So let's move this to 1 day time frame and see exactly what's going on in ETH. So we have a low right here, we have a high, low, half high, low, high, and so on and so forth. So with every single thing I've seen right here, I think we have a market reaction at this point. Let's see. Let's go ahead and mark out the horizontal line. So this point right here. So we have a market reaction at this point, which is the market leading from here. And we also have another one reacting to it over here as well. So looking at this market, I can see an uptrend, to be honest with you. I'm seeing a good setup for an uptrend. It could start happening right here. It might still come down to test this level, but it's definitely an uptrend for me right here. So get ready for an uptrend when it comes to ETH. But then let's go to the lower time frame. And let's first move to 1 hour time frame and see what's happening. So 1 hour time frame is obviously telling us that we have a potential downtrend, and I'm not actually surprised, because if I'm to take a look at this 1 day time frame once again, like I told you guys, there is still a chance of this market returning somewhere here, because the market has always done like this several times. Okay, they have to contest a place, they'll go up, and then they'll come and clear out that market at that level. You saw that in the previous BTC we just saw, right? And guess what? We have a closer market interest point than this particular one I just showed you. Look at this other one over here, this high, right? So there's still every single possibility that ETH is likely going to come over here and break this to touch this particular level right here before it starts going up, right? So there's still every single possibility with that. So what I'm going to do right now is to take out this particular one that's up here. I'll leave the other one down there. I'll go to 15 minutes time frame where I trade on, and then using my 200 EMA and my lower low, higher low, or higher highs or stuff like that to mark out my trading pattern, right? So this is going to be the maximum point where I'm going to stop looking at sell possibilities, right? It doesn't mean the market's going to touch here, but it's where I'm going to stop looking at sell possibilities, right? Now we have markets, going lows. We don't have any bullish setup yet, so every single thing we're looking at here is for sells. We're not looking at buys at all, unless we have a breakout, which is a breakout that's going to be above this level and probably touch there to start going up again. Okay, so right now whatever I'm looking at now is sell. So I'm not gonna be entering a market right now because I'm not in a perfect position to enter sell. But regardless, if you enter sell right here, it's still a good one. After all, it's all risky trades whenever you're trading. Okay, so let's put a short position right here. Let's say short position right here. Maybe one enter trade right now. We'll put a stop loss just above this, just in case we have a breakout, and take our profits. Let's say 3:1 risk to reward ratio, and increase this more. So let's see, doing this is in 1 hour time frame. Let's see if we have any points to give us a reasonable. Okay, yeah, I think this 3:1 risk to reward ratio is a reasonable point, because if you take a proper look at it, we do have a market reaction at this point. Okay, so there is every single possibility that the market is going to seek it and tap at that point. And consider that we have higher highs, higher lows. We have a low right here. We should be expecting a lower low, right? That is a logical expectations, right? But this is just for a short term. This is not the long term trade. This is just for a short term, right? And judging at this particular level I am in my stop loss, I might be a bit too close. Well, considering this is crypto, it doesn't really behave like Forex. It might be okay, right? It might just be okay on its own. So let's leave it right there, right? Yeah, so that's actually it. What do you think about this strategy? Do you think it's something that makes sense? And what are type of trading strategy are you confused with? Do you have anything that you want me to talk about? You know, I can look into it and probably bring you the informations that I figured out about that strategy and what other people are doing about it, so you can also learn from it as well. Anyway, this is gonna be for this video. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel. Take care and happy earning.